Hi guys, I've gotten a lot of requests from viewers to do an Excel course that takes people from zero to hero in Excel. So this video series is that course. We start with the absolute basics and go through all corners of Excel, and we'll even get our hands dirty with VBA, which is basically Excel's scripting or programming language. So let's get started. Excel is a so-called spreadsheet application. With Excel we can carry out calculations, build charts. With Excel we can develop databases. We can construct complex mathematical models. And with the help of VBA, basically Excel's programming language, we can develop applications for others to use. Now, the basis of all Excel work is the workbook. And when you start Excel, you get an empty workbook called, in this case, Book 1. And each Excel file that you save is basically a workbook. And this workbook contains a number of tables. It can contain one or more tables, or also called worksheets or sheets. In this case here, my workbook has got 3 sheets. Now each sheet or table is independent of the others, and you can reach any table or sheet just by clicking its name. So now I'm sheet 3, now sheet 2, sheet 1, etc. Now, what's the maximum number of worksheets I can get in an Excel file or an Excel book? Well, it depends on how much RAM your computer got. The more RAM you got, the more tables you can insert. I've developed Excel applications on a computer with not a lot of RAM, and those Excel applications contained more than 150 sheets, and they worked without any problems. So yeah, you can have a large number of tables in your workbook. The name of each sheet can be easily changed. There are 2 ways of doing it. One way is to double click it. Let's say sheet 1, I want to change that name. So I just double click it, and you see now it's selected, and now I just write a new name, for instance, contacts. Okay, and another way to rename a sheet is you just right click it. Basically you click it with the right mouse key, and then you have here rename, and you just type in the second name or another name, groceries. And like I said, the sheets are independent of one another, so you can have in one sheet certain content and another sheet another content. Obviously they should be somehow related because they're all in the same workbook. Otherwise it's quite senseless to have random sheets in a specific workbook. Now, how to get extra sheets? Because I just got 3, I need more. There's the button for that. You just click on that and you get more sheets. Let's insert a lot of sheets. And now you see I've inserted so many sheets I can't see them all at once. And that's why we got these 4 arrows here. That one takes us to the left, sheet by sheet. That one takes us to the right, sheet by sheet. And this one takes us to the first sheet, i.e. the first sheet on the left. And this one takes us to the last sheet, i.e. the last sheet on the right. Okay? And these arrows are very helpful, or these navigation arrows are very helpful if you got a lot of tables, a lot of sheets. And if you notice, this bar here is divided into 2 sections. The first section contains all those sheets, and the second section contains the scroll bar, the horizontal scroll bar. And here you've got a slider where you can change the proportion of each of these sections. For instance, I want to have a big area for the scroll bar. So just slide the slider, and you see the scroll bar gets now a lot of real estate, whereas the table tabs or the sheet tabs don't. And if I slide the slider to the right, the sheet tabs get a lot of real estate, whereas the scroll bar doesn't. So basically, if you have a lot of sheets or a lot of tables in your Excel workbook, it might be advisable to give them some space so you can see a lot of more tables at once. Because if you slide it this way, you just see two tables, so it's not very helpful. So always gotta, click on the arrows to get your tables to see that relevant table that you need. Whereas with the slider this way, it's much easier to see the tables, because you can see many more tables at once with the slider set like that. And you don't need a lot of space for that horizontal bar. Right, now we know how to add sheets. How do we delete sheets? Again, there are multiple methods. One method is just right click any sheet you want to delete and then go to delete, and it's gone. Okay, let's delete 11 as well this way, and it's also gone. Another way to delete sheets is you just click that sheet and then you go to delete, and there are multiple issues here and multiple options which we will take care of later, but this is the one we need right now, delete sheet, and it's gone. Let's delete 13 as well, and it's gone. Okay, so now let's drill down into the sheets themselves. Let's go to our first sheets, contacts, and you can see, and that applies to each sheet. A sheet contains a lot of columns, and each column is identified by an alphabet. So this is column A, this is column B, column C, and so on. And then you've got the rows, and these are identified by numbers. So this is row 1, row 2, etc. And those boxes one can click in. Those boxes are called cells, and cells are identified by the column name, or let me put it this way, they're identified by a combination of column name and row name. So basically, this cell is D4, and you can see the name right here. This bar here is called the formula bar, because in here we're going to be, in future we're going to be typing our formulas in here. So if I click here, you can see I am in the cell F8, i.e. column F, row 8. H8, column H, row 8. Okay, and so on. How many columns can you have in a specific sheet? You can have around 16,000 columns in a sheet and around 1 million rows in a sheet. I'm going to put the exact number at the bottom of the in the description of this video, but basically you can have 16,000 sheets. 16,000 columns in a sheet and 1 million rows in a sheet. Okay. Now, if I want to input data, just like in other applications, I just click in the first cell and just write name, for instance. With the return key, I go one cell down. Okay. With the tab key, I go to the right. Wrong. And then I can also navigate with those 4 arrows on your keyboard between your text and your numerical keyboard. You got like those 4 arrows. With these you can navigate up, down, right, left. Okay, and that's how you can type in, or you can click with the mouse in a specific cell and then write your data in. Okay, and I'm pressing the upward arrow, so I'm up here and then right. Now, how do I edit content? There are multiple ways of doing it. One way is you just click the cell. Now, if I write anything in here, I'm just going to replace name with whatever I write. So I just press one key, and already name has been replaced by G. Okay, so that's one way of editing. Okay. Another way of editing is you double click. So basically, if I double click here, Now I've got a cursor right in the middle of the text, and now with my arrows I can navigate to that place where I want that cursor to be and then do my editing. So for instance here, instead of Henry, it should be Harry. So I just gotta backspace N and E and then HR. So I got Harry. Okay. Another way to edit is basically you just click on that cell. Let me go outside. Let me say I want to change Alfred into Alfredo. I just click on the cell and I can then write in the formula bar or edit the stuff in the formula. Just add an O here. Okay. Or let's say Smith. Instead of Smith, it should be Smythe, i.e. the I should be replaced with a Y. So I just go in here and then take the cursor here to the I and then do the Y. All right, so this is the way you can edit your text in Excel. So like I said, like you got like 3 ways to edit. First is you click on the cell and then write anything, the new content in. The new content will replace the old content. And yeah, oh, by the way, if you, let's say I've written here something, you know what, I want to get that old content back, just press the escape button on your keyboard, or the escape key on your keyboard, and you're out of there and the old content is back. Okay. The second way to edit is to double click, and you got the cursor in here, and then you can, with the arrows, you can move the cursor to that desired position and then do your editing. Or you can click in a certain cell and then here in the formula bar, click into the change the content to whatever you need it to be. Right, let's get to the last step of this first video, and that's basically saving. To save this workbook is similar to saving a file in any other application. You've got the save button in here, just press it. And because I have not yet saved this workbook, once I press that button, I'm going to get this dialog, save as, where I have to give a name. Let's say lesson 1 or lesson 0. Yeah, I've got to give a name and set a place where I want to save this, and then I can go to save. Now, any further saves I do, let's say Lisa, oops, got too far down. Let's say Lisa Harrison. Now, if I was safe, I don't have to input anything anymore because the application now got the name and the location of that file. It doesn't need that information anymore. It'll just save it automatically.